Shocking Emmerdale spoiler alert. What happens when Cain's loyalty to Cammy ignites a fiery clash with Charity? You won't believe the drama that unfolds next. Stay tuned to find out how this explosive showdown could change everything in the village. Don't miss it. Hearts on the line, Charity's bet, Cain's surprise, and a race that changes everything. The sun was barely peeking over the horizon in Emmerdale, casting golden streaks across the countryside, but tension was already simmering. Charity Dingle, lacing up her trainers beside Jacob, shot him a smirk. "Ready to lose, Jacob?" she teased, trying to hide her nerves behind bravado. Jacob rolled his eyes, adjusting his water bottle strap. "You wish. I've been training for this. You just signed up because you hate being left out." Maybe he had a point, but this wasn't just about the race anymore. Not for Charity. The local charity race had stirred up more than just community spirit. It had pulled people together in ways no one quite expected. And for Charity, nothing ever stayed simple for long. As she stretched and scoped out the competition, her light-hearted mood soured the moment she spotted a familiar figure striding up the lane. "Cain, what the hell are you doing here?" Charity asked, eyes narrowing. Cain smirked in that infuriating way of his, hands buried deep in his jacket pockets. "Relax, I'm not here for you. I'm here to support Cammy." Of course he was. Cammy had been buzzing about the race all week. He'd roped Cain in for support, and to everyone's surprise, Cain had actually shown up. And now here he was, acting like a proud uncle while Charity fumed silently. The tension between them could have powered a wind turbine. Still, Charity never let a grudge go to waste. "Tell you what," she said, stepping up to Cain with a wicked grin. "Let's make this interesting. If Cammy beats Jacob, you do Sarah's chores for a month." Cain raised an eyebrow. "And if Jacob wins? You wash my car, in a tutu." "Deal." Their handshake sealed it. The race was suddenly more than a fun run, it was personal. The whistle blew, and just like that, they were off. The crowd erupted into cheers, but Charity barely noticed. Her eyes were locked on the runners, watching every stride. Cammy was flying, pure joy on his face, like he'd finally found a place where he truly belonged. Cain's expression softened as he watched Cammy sprint. For a moment, even Charity forgot the bet. It was clear, Cammy wasn't just running for fun. He was running to prove something, maybe even to himself. And then he won. The crowd roared. Cammy's face lit up like a sunrise as he crossed the finish line, triumphant, heart-pounding, grin stretching ear to ear. But the joy didn't last. Because the second he turned, he caught Sarah's face in the crowd, arms folded, jaw tight, fury radiating from every inch of her. His grin faltered. "Sarah," he called, but she turned away, storming off without a word. The air shifted. That post-race buzz disappeared in a heartbeat. Cammy stood frozen, the weight of Sarah's silence crashing down on him harder than any sprint. Meanwhile, Cain and Charity exchanged looks, both of them unsure of what had just happened, both painfully aware that the joy of Cammy's victory was already unraveling. Elsewhere in the village, another emotional storm was brewing. Gabby was glowing, not just from the sunshine but from the kind of excitement that blooms when life feels like it's finally falling into place. Her chats with Vinny had been hopeful, comfortable. She thought they were on the same page. So when she casually brought up parenting, just a soft, "Have you ever thought about it?" she didn't expect the sudden storm that followed. "I don't want to be a dad," Vinny blurted out, the words slicing through the air like broken glass. Gabby blinked. "What?" He backed away like he couldn't believe he'd said it out loud. "I'm sorry. I can't. I don't want that. Not now, maybe not ever." The confusion twisted in her chest. Gabby wasn't even talking about them having a baby. It had been a general, harmless question. But Vinny looked like he'd been cornered. "I don't get it," she said quietly. "Where's this coming from?" Vinny couldn't answer, or wouldn't. He just shook his head and walked away, leaving her staring at the empty space he left behind, one that felt colder than she ever thought possible. And then there was Dawn. She sat in the nursery, her fingers gently grazing over the edge of a tiny onesie. Everything had been ready. The baby's room, the crib, even the lullaby playlist on her phone. All of it prepared for Joy. But Joy hadn't come. She tried to keep smiling, for Billy, for the kids, for herself, But inside, she was shattered. No one told you how it would feel. That loss could be so quiet and so loud at the same time. That even when people said, "You'll get through this," all you could hear was silence. She picked up a teddy bear, holding it close, the tears spilling over without permission. Dawn didn't want to talk. She didn't want to be strong. She just wanted to not feel this way. But in her quiet grief, there was a quiet strength. She didn't know it yet, but it was there. Back at the finish line, things weren't much clearer. Cammy sat alone on the grass, towel around his neck, still catching his breath, though now it was from stress, not exertion. Cain joined him silently. He didn't offer advice or ask questions, just sat there, shoulder to shoulder, letting Cammy know he wasn't alone. Eventually, Cammy spoke. She looked so angry. "Yeah," Cain said, "she did." "What did I do?" Cain sighed. "That's something you'll have to ask her, but don't run from it. If she's mad, find out why. Don't leave it hanging." For all this tough guy exterior, Cain had learned a few things. Maybe not always the easy way, but he'd learned. Cammy nodded, unsure but willing. "Thanks, Cain." They shared a rare, unspoken moment of understanding. Charity, meanwhile, found Sarah pacing behind a stall. "What's going on?" she asked gently. Sarah's eyes flashed. "He didn't tell me. About the race. He just assumed I'd be okay with him doing it with Cain." Ah, there it was. "It's not just the race," Sarah said. "It's like he's got this whole new life, and I'm not even part of it anymore." Charity nodded slowly. "I get that. I really do. But Cammy's not replacing you. He's just figuring things out. Like all of us." Sarah looked down. "I miss when it was just us." "We still have us," Charity said, pulling her close. "Always will." By the end of the day, the sun was starting to dip and the village was quieter. Cain pulled up beside Charity, arms crossed. "So, you won," he muttered. Charity grinned. "Tutus in the post. Pink's your color, by the way." He scowled but didn't argue. "He's a good kid, Cammy." "Yeah," Charity said, looking off toward the horizon. "He really is." And for once in the chaos of Emmerdale life, that was enough. But as always, new storms were already gathering. Hearts breaking, truths unraveling, and futures hanging in the balance. Because in this village, even the smallest race can change everything.